Recently I was in America. My father had his 90th birthday. And everyone was amazed how he lived 90 years still. He's still living? 90 years? So that seems like a lot to us. Brahma lives 311 trillion years. Is that comprehensible? Brahma's one night, that means 12 hours, is 4,320,000,000 years. Now we may think this is some type of mythology or analogy or impossible. Well, that little mosquito in the plane last night was probably thinking that my lifespan was inconceivable and impossible. If they were having some katha and they were discussing what analogy is trying to be made that somebody could live so long. So everything is, we have to understand that our conception of what is possible is totally relative to what's possible for us. Yes? Even a little baby is crying for the milk of its mother. A little baby really doesn't know much about anything except, just trying to enjoy and survive and trying to feel love. A baby is crying for love ultimately, and the protection of love. The whole idea of a mother, embracing the child and giving milk to the child and taking care of the child. These are all just forms in which there's an expression of love. Without an expression of love, all these physical duties are quite hollow and without purpose. Yes? So similarly, in the spiritual world, all the activities are ways of expressing pure, liberated love. So Krishna wanted to show that this Rasa Leela had nothing to do with material existence. And so many people, especially here in India, they take the Rasa Leela to be something like their conception of romance. Yes? Let me have Rasa Leela with you. Yes, you be Gopi, I be Krishna. Yeah. How many people do like that? Or they take it to be something like what you see in the films, the loving attraction of romance. But Shukadeva Goswami is showing how Krishna, it's like an exclamation point. That this has nothing to do with lust. It has nothing to do with material enjoyment. It has nothing to do with what we like to do in this world. It's completely transcendent. The essence is we want to love and be loved. But on the spiritual platform, Krishna had this Rasa Leela for 4,320,000,000 years. And he put all that time within 12 hours. Is that possible? Achintya Shakti. For Krishna, everything is possible. It's transcendental. And here we find Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur giving his examples. That when Krishna was just a little baby, Yashoda Mai put him on her lap, and when he was just an infant, he was so light, he just sat on her lap, and her motherly love expanded so deeply. And there's an expression. Her love was being expressed because her body is a facility to manifest that love. That's bhakti. And it manifested through milk. Her love just wasn't, oh Krishna, you be and I be. Her love was, Krishna, I want to give you something. And the dear, most intimate expression of my love now is my milk, to give you happiness. So she opened little baby Krishna's mouth and went to put the milk in his mouth. And she happened to look in his mouth, and she saw the entire universe. His mouth's only this big. She saw the Himalayan mountains. She saw Mount Sumeru and all those bigger mountains from other planets. She saw all the oceans. She saw all living beings. She saw all demigods and humans and all species of life. She saw the modes of material nature. She saw how everything was working. And Krishna's mouth didn't grow. It's not that all of a sudden Krishna had a huge mouth and Yashoda was just looking at this mouth. His mouth was only this big, maybe 3 inches in diameter, the most. And yet, millions and millions of miles of oceans and mountains and outer space and planets were within it. That's Krishna. Now, you can open your mouth and I've noticed when doctors, put that stick in your tongue and look in your mouth, they usually never look for more than about 3 seconds. Yes? Because it's not a very nice thing to see, actually. Sometimes when they do that, I'm thinking, why don't they look thoroughly? They just go, nothing very interesting inside. That's us. But Krishna, he has inconceivable potencies. For Krishna to create all living entities, for him to create all the universes, we can't do that. He can. So he could do anything. He's Swarat. He could put the whole universe in his little mouth. And Yashoda Mai could see everything. She was looking in his mouth and seeing within his stomach was the whole cosmic manifestation. And he didn't get fat. He just remained little baby Krishna. Everything is inside Krishna by Krishna's will. And by Krishna's will, nothing is outside of Krishna. To Arjuna, he manifested the Virat Rupa. Yashoda Mai saw everything within little baby Krishna. And to Arjuna, he saw everything, Krishna's form expand to cover the whole universe and beyond. And that same Virat Rupa, who is an expansion of Krishna, Yashoda Mai, she tied a rope around him and bound him. And Krishna was crying. Krishna was crying that now I am bound by my mother and I'm helpless. That is Krishna's will. So for Krishna to put 4,320,000,000 years within 12 hours, it's not impossible. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. It's Krishna. Why should the absolute truth, Parabrahman, descend to the earth if he does things the way we do things? Yes? He comes to reveal his super excellence. As Matsya, he became such a big fish. As Narsinghadev, as Vamanadev, 2 steps he covered the universe. When the Lord appears in the world, he does it in wonderful ways. And Krishna does it in wonderful ways that are all within the context of the intimacy of rasa, or loving relationships. That is Krishna. So this Rasa Lila is the highest revelation of bhakti. And in order to even have the proper conception of it, what to speak of realization, it is recommended that under the guidance of self-realized souls, we study the entire 9 cantos and all the preceding chapters of the 10th canto before we even approach the Rasa Lila.